People wanted another post-commentary video, so here it is. Never say I don't do things for you guys. Every now and then, I'm asked how to snowball a lead when I get super far ahead early. So for today's video, I'll be talking over a stream where I just completely took over the game by myself. This game is in the KR Masters 500 LP range, and I've been doing no mic streams way more often nowadays because I really wanted to focus and prove to you guys that I can get out of Platinum if I wanted to. I decide between going Spellbook and Electrocute on Bard based on how I think the early game is going to go. If I think I need the damage, I'll go Electrocute, and if I want more flexibility in the mid to late game, then I'll opt for a safer playstyle with Spellbook. I also go Spellbook if I'm running out of content and need to pay my rent. I'm not entirely sure if it's silence or set support, but looking at the bans, I can fairly assume that it's a set, so I want Electrocute to abuse his very short range in the early game and potentially just snowball right away. Set support is honestly pretty bad. It's like Pantheon support, except if you want to lose the game. I'm fully expecting him to eventually flash E on either me or Jinx, but if he doesn't manage to just one-shot us, then we can kite him for years afterward. I do my typical level 1 ward to watch for invades before recalling for a scanner. I only go pods if I really think I'll need it for lane, but this matchup should honestly be free. If it wasn't, then you wouldn't be watching this video. I pick up the second chime along with the incoming minion wave so that I have a slight movement speed boost to potentially dodge the first skill shot. You want to walk up with the wave, especially against an Ezreal, so that if the enemy bot lane decides to 2v2 cheese you, they'll be surprised to see that it's instead of 2v8 as your 6 minion homies jump them at the same time. Set just really can't do anything without flash in this lane, so I opted to use my ignite early, because now Set will have to either engage with low HP and probably just die immediately, or wait until we can reach him with pots, but by then, I should be able to heal myself up, so he's stuck in a lose-lose situation. It's a bit ginkable. We see the enemy jungler top, so we continue getting small amounts of poke until something happens. Set goes in, and I try my best to stand in front of my Jinx at all times, so that Ezreal can't get his Q damage off. But since both Ezreal and Set used Flash, while I also got the kill, this lane's basically just over, as now the enemy will have no way to reliably engage onto us for the next 5 minutes without spells, and even if they somehow miraculously do, I have the HP from 2 Ruby Crystals to tank through it. Whenever I don't have a trinket in the early game, which is basically every game since I always go scanner, I usually position myself towards the river more, so that I can essentially be a walking ward to watch for invades, while also being ready to roam first before the enemy can react. Even if the enemy jungler tries to catch me, I have portal to easily get away from anything, so it can only be good for your team overall if you're always in position to back them up instead of just camping in the bush doing nothing. Even if you're not confirming kills, as long as you're slowly whittling down the enemy turret and doing hit and run pokes with your Electrocute, you'll naturally get a gold lead from turret platings. Eventually, the enemy will either have to take a bad recall or get impatient from the poke and try to force something. You just have to really know the enemy's range of damage, and against a support set without flash, the only thing you have to worry about is the slight speed boost he gets from his Q. If you manage to bait it out by walking forward a few times just outside of his range, he'll have no way to actually catch up to you after it goes down. The best time to go for a roam is usually after a kill, or when you're sure that your ADC won't immediately die. And because Set just died, I see that the enemy Zed's getting low and look for a potential pick. I see that Sylas is in the area though, and immediately called it off. I could have actually tried autoing the Zed twice here, which might have killed him with the Electrocute, but I wasn't sure if I could get 2 autos off before a potential Sylas E2 in the Fog of War. And if Zed ulted on top of that, I had no way to kill him in time, so the safer option was to just run away instead of risk giving up my bounty. I really want to recall right now with my 1.4k gold, but I see Set coming into my jungle, and I also spot my Kiana ganking in the bot lane. I know my Jinx is getting low, so just to make sure that my ADC doesn't get flanked, I go for a small bluff play by presenting myself as a potentially easier target to pick off. I use my W for brief vision in the bush, and after seeing Set hesitate a bit, I get ready to run away while looking really juicy. I give myself enough distance so that I can react to him coming at me, while also staying close enough to make Set undecided on if he should wait a bit or help his Ezreal. It's just a mind game on what I think the Set will do, but if that gives my teammates even a second of extra time to position into a better spot to avoid the flank, then it's super worth it. And thanks to my Kiana clearing the bush herself, I can walk up and get ready to recall.
Rampage.
It's honestly not the worst that Jinx died, since she was going to recall anyways, and the wave's in a really good spot. But the fact that I have all 4 of the kills from bot means I have to use my gold lead to help out my teammates as much as I can. I always go deadmans first, but this is the one unique time where I have enough gold to buy redemption right away. I look at the other lanes and see that both my mid and top lane are getting low on HP, so I instantly pull the trigger to get the redemption first to see if I can help one of them out with a long range heal. I definitely could have portaled to get into range faster, but I was just too focused on the item decision that I didn't make that small optimization. I see my Kiana coming top, so I move to back her up, but she forgot she left her stove on and dips at the last second, and now I have to quickly change up my pathing towards mid to make it look like I know what I'm doing. My Syndra unfortunately gets caught by the set, and my jungler wants to do the grubs, so while I'm slowly chasing down the enemy support for the revenge kill, I'm constantly looking over at my Kiana to see if she'll need my ultimate in any way. But after seeing the Silas walk away, I return my full attention back onto the set that just used Flash again before his W comes back up for the shield. Whenever you're about to recall on Bard, you want to get into the habit of putting down a W since you're about to reach into full anyways, so might as well. Silas actually chased me all the way from mid like a freaking weirdo, so now I have to decide on my escape plan. Since my portal isn't up for 10 more seconds, I either have to ult him or stall long enough to portal out. The risk of ulting him first is that he can easily just dash to dodge it, and now I have absolutely nothing to survive his stolen Kiana ult. So I want to save my ult to react to his ultimate so that I'm not just a sitting duck while I'm stunned for however many seconds. My movement decision here is honestly just a psychological thing that I'll try my best to explain, but in the Silas's eyes, he knows that I want to escape to my turret, so I'll try to block off any path that can directly lead to that. But I intentionally enter the bush, making it look like I'm going for that angle, but after I don't come out for a bit, he smells something fishy and dashes to a more central spot to catch me with the E2 ult combo. Right as he gets vision of me though, I use that small time frame to run into the heal pack that I just placed to get a slight speed boost to dodge the E2. A chime also happened to spawn at that exact moment, but it didn't matter much in the grand scheme of things. I saw for just enough time to get my Q back up, but my E is still on cooldown for 5 more seconds. I don't want to risk trying for an alcove portal, so I instead change my pathing upwards to get a stun angle into the wall, and with the final extra speed boost from the other health pack I put down earlier, Silas gives up the chase and I get out unscathed. Whenever you're Giga fed like I am right now, you usually want to build more defensive items first instead of going full damage items. I see a lot of people that just continue the regular item path by going full glass cannon on like mid-range ADCs, and they wonder why they're getting caught 5 minutes later when they're mathematically as squishy as they were at the start of the game. When I get a crazy amount of gold, I actually try to roam a bit less and instead opt to stay in lane to now help my ADC get ahead, since we'll usually be able to seize the turret way faster and eventually roam up together to help the other lanes that way. If I had Spellbook TP, that'd be a different story, but since I have Electrocute, I have to use my damage to the fullest and just keep bullying the 2 guys bot lane. Now that we finished off the turret, the bot duo should lane swap with the mid laner, or ideally with whoever has TP up. Right now, it says I have a huge bounty since I'm 7-0, but to my knowledge, this doesn't update all the time. And Riot implemented some kind of balancing mechanic a while back, where if you're super fed by yourself on your team, then the game will punish you less for dying, since it wouldn't make sense if the enemy can get a crazy amount of gold from you when they're already winning everywhere else. So although it looks like I'll give up a 700 gold bounty if I ever get caught, the actual bounty should only be like 200 to 300. So whenever I'm in this position, I don't worry too much about dying and just keep going for plays that can get my team ahead. I get baited into trying to save my Jax with the redemption here, which makes me a little late to save my Jinx that walked it too far mid as well. In hindsight, I probably should have just ignored the guy that was already 1-4, but the timing was just unlucky. I see Kiana coming from the top side, and I see a potential play. I honestly kind of get stun-locked here for a second, where I originally wanted to flash auto ignite to finish off the Ezreal, but I wasn't sure if he had barrier or not, so I didn't want to commit until I was sure my Q would hit. Kiana somehow gets perfectly ulted towards me by the set because of the angle she dashes in from, and I tried going for him first before going for my flash play. That small hesitation on what I should do gets me CC chained, and now it's just an absolute disaster as the play goes from a potential 3 kills for us to multiple bounties given up to the enemy. In hindsight, I probably should have tried ulting the Silas first before immediately doing the flash electrocute play on Ezreal, because even if he uses barrier to live through the combo, it'll remove him from the fight, and it definitely would have given me time to finish off the set before Kiana went down, but I forgot. I only gave up a 200 gold bounty, so it wasn't the absolute worst case scenario, but I just had to play better until my teammates could catch up. Someone puts up a surrender vote, but I have tons of experience 1v9ing a doomed game, and I'm confident enough to know that I can snowball my gold advantage and drag my teammates' bodies across the finish line. Whenever my teammates want to give up, I reassure them that we have good late game. Good late game being the Bard. Now that my bounty is gone and I'm tanking enough for my items, I have nothing holding me back anymore, so I start building more damage with Liandry's. I get way more aggressive and look for easy targets, so that we can at the very least go into future fights with a numbers advantage. At this point in the game, Bard is a tank assassin, mage, juggernaut, bruiser, ranged melee damage dealer support, so I'm constantly positioning near the front line to bait out spells for my team. I ult the enemy jungler as the objective gets low, so that we can get a free dragon confirm, and now we have to slowly back off and kite until the enemy makes a mistake. My team's not fully caught up on gold, which means my crazy bounty is back. Jinx knows that I'm the carry, so she even lets me take the blue buff, which matches well with all the sweat coming off my back. I know that unless there's 4 or 5 enemies camping in the same bush waiting to jump me, I should be able to run away from anything at this point. So I just keep sprinting at the first target I see to pressure the enemy away. I definitely messed up here, where I was actually paying attention to the Rift Tail during that entire fight, because if I couldn't see a good angle to ult, then might as well save it to stop the charge. But I think the sound of it charging got masked by the fight noises, so I didn't react in time and just wasted my ult. Now that I help my team get comfortably ahead, the enemy surrenders themselves because they don't have a bard, and I get my well-deserved LP.